Hi there, my name is Brennan Rodney and I'm going to do a Flash tutorial in CS5 today. This is mainly for beginners. We're going to do some basic drawing. I'll show you some of the tools you'll use. Also going to be doing some masking, motion tweening, and dealing with symbols. So, let's get started. Action script 3, we're going to select that and open up our stage here. Alright, we're going to go up to our layer 1 and we're going to rename it Face. Okay, next we're going to grab our oval tool. O is the shortcut. And we're just going to draw a circle. If there's a fill, just delete the fill. We don't need it right now. So, I'm just going to center this. And select the outline here and push F8. F8 is going to bring up your convert to symbol box. And you now have three options, movie clip, button, or graphic. Movie clip is a looping animation where graphic is just an animation without the loop. And a button obviously is a button. So the space that we're going to draw is going to be a non-looping animation. So we're just going to go ahead and select graphic and name it Face. So once that has happened, you'll see a blue box has appeared around our drawing, and that means that it has been converted to a symbol successfully. So double click it and you'll go right inside the symbol and you'll see that it's branched off from our scene 1 into our face graphic. So we're going to draw some shading on this face. So push N. N is your line tool. And we'll start about here and draw a line straight across to the other side. And you'll see that there's a little circle right below my crosshairs. That means that it's being snapped to this other line so that the fill can actually happen. I'm sure you remember the old paint days when you had to go and check all your lines for gaps to see why your paint wouldn't fill in. Well, it's not a problem here in Flash CS5. So, as you see what I just did, there is a bendy line underneath your selection tool. Push V for your selection tool if you haven't done so already. This has enabled us to now bend this line. So just bend the line just like I have here, just in a crescent moon sort of shape. Alright, now we're going to fill in our face here, so push K. K is your paint bucket tool. So come over to our color panel here and we're going to select an orange color. So 26 is an acceptable one. So come about halfway from the on the top here, maybe a little bit less even, and that is a pretty good skin tone color. So we'll just fill that right in. Once you've done that, come over to the brightness here and we're going to turn the brightness down a couple notches, and then we're going to fill in our shaded area. Maybe we can go a bit darker. So if I select this area and then go back over to my color panel, I'll change it right away. So there we go. Once our shading is filled in, we're going to select our shading line and delete it. So now you see that the space looks a little bit more round than it did before. Alright, so let's throw a nose on this guy now. So push N for your line tool, and whatever kind of nose you feel like drawing is up to you. You can draw a snake nose or one of these kind of noses. Let's go with that for now. So now that we're done our face, we're going to go back to our scene 1 and we're going to go to our timeline and lock our face layer. That way we cannot do any harm to it anymore. So push the new layer button and layer 2 is going to come up and we're going to name this mouth. Alright, so click on the blank keyframe on the mouth layer and grab your pen tool. Pen tool is P, is the shortcut. Alright, pen tool is a really cool tool. You only have to click, you don't have to click and drag really to draw lines. So we're going to draw a mouth. It's going to consist of a straight upper line and two curved lines. So I'll show you how to do that. Just click and let go and you'll see that the pen tool has made a little bit of a mark here. So now go to where you want your line to end and click, and the pen tool is going to automatically draw this line for you. Curves get a bit tricky, so click and drag and you'll see that our line has started to curve, and once you have it to your curve you want it to, you just let go and it'll draw that curved line for you. To close off a pen line, just go back to where you started and you'll see that circle beside your pen. Just click and we're going to click and drag to get our curve, and then let go. And your pen drawing will be all finished. Push V for your selection tool and you'll see your finished product. So we're going to select this and we're going to drag it onto the face. That's a chintzy looking mouth right there, so we're going to actually make it a bit bigger. push Q for your free transform tool, and go to the corner here and you'll see the scaling tool, so we'll make it a bit bigger, and then we'll put it right back on the face. Maybe we'll make it a bit smaller. Alright, so in the free transform tool you can also rotate and skew horizontally and vertically, and you can also change the width and the height of it, and you can change the anchor point. So if I were to rotate it right now, it's going to rotate around this anchor point, but if I move it to the side here and I rotate it, it's going to rotate still around that anchor point. So let's go and make our mouth a symbol. So push F8, and it's going to be a graphic. It's going to be a non-looping animation, and mouth. Alright, so just hop inside this motion, or this graphic here, and we're going to zoom in. So push Control plus, that's a shortcut for zooming in. So we're going to give this mouth some teeth and a tongue. So push the N tool, or the line tool, N is the shortcut, and just draw 2 lines, one on the top here, and one on the bottom here as well. So I'm not a big fan of the pen tool. I like to draw my lines the hard way. I don't know why, but that's how I like doing it. If you want to practice with the pen tool on your own, you can definitely do that. So we're going to put some color in this mouth now. You can see I've bent the teeth a little bit and bent the tongue quite a bit actually. So we're going to put some shading lines on this. So push the O button for the oval tool and just draw a circle just like this. You don't need this fill, so we can just go ahead and delete it. Alright, next, since this is a bit of an irregular shape to it, we're actually going to select this top line, hold down Shift, and select this side line as well. Push Control C and Control V to copy and paste, and we're just going to place it about here. So now that these lines have intersected this other line, you can now select each of these on their own. So this is access, we don't need it, so we're going to delete those. And maybe we'll bend it just a bit. Alright, so let's throw some color on this mouth. So this area here is going to be black, so let's start with that. Push K for your bucket tool and fill that in. Next, let's do the teeth, which are white. And we're going to fill in this. Sorry, the top's going to be white. And white and black don't need to be taken down too much. 96 will probably do. And once we're done that, we can delete our shading lines. And have a look at the final product. You can see a little bit of the shading here, but you don't want to make it too obvious. So let's do our tongue next. So we want red, so 360 for the hue. And that's a pretty good highlight for our tongue, so K for our bucket tool. We'll fill that in and delete our shading line. And next we're going to fill in the actual tongue bit, and probably do that color right there. So that is our mouth. If you want to add some more character to it, perhaps push your N tool and we'll add a chipped tooth. And so just double click your fill and it'll select the fill and the stroke. Push delete, and we're going to grab our eyedropper tool. I is the shortcut, and we're going to click the black here, and now it automatically goes to our bucket tool with the color that we've eyedropped. And we'll just fill this in and he'll have a chipped tooth. Alright, so let's go back to our scene 1, and we are going to create another layer, and locking our mouth layer. And layer 3 is going to be called eyes. So we're going to create a new symbol without actually drawing anything, and the shortcut for that is Control F8, and it's going to bring up our box again. And this one is going to be a movie clip, a looping animation, and eyes is the name of it. So push enter and it'll take us into a blank movie clip, and we're going to start from scratch. So grab your oval tool, O is the shortcut, and we're going to draw an egg shape. Delete the fill if there is any. In the future, if you wanted to no fill at the beginning, just select your fill and select no color, and there'll just be the stroke. You can do that with stroke as well. You can click the stroke and select no color and have just fill and no stroke. You can switch these back and forth as well, and black and white is usually the default. So After you've drawn your egg shape, you're going to come to the bottom here, and you're just going to bend this eye just like that, so it looks like an egg sitting in the ground or something like that. Alright, so we are going to fill this in with white. Just fill that in. You won't see a change, obviously, because the background is white as well. But just to double check, you can click, and you'll see your fill has been highlighted. So, we're going to name this layer White. We're going to lock it, and we're going to make a new layer and call it Eyes. So, click this blank keyframe, and we're going to draw a circle inside our eyeball. Draw it sort of the same shape, and then center it up. Alright, so we're going to delete the fill for right now, and we're going to push N for our line tool, and we're going to draw another shading line just straight across like that. Actually, scratch that. We're going to draw it a little bit lower here, and push V for your selection tool, and we're going to bend it upward like this. Alright, so now, actually, we're going to click this shading line and take it right out of the eye, and I'll show you why in just a second. We're going to draw the iris, so O again for your oval tool, and draw the iris, and just center that up. Alright, so now that we have our iris in, we want constant shading without, so we're just going to grab this and put it right back where it was. Only this time, we're going to have to connect the lines manually to the other one. So just click and drag, and you'll see that little magnet circle. Just connect the lines so we can fill in our shading. So this is a little wonky. There we go. Alright, so now let's choose a color for our eye. Mine are going to be green. And K for your bucket tool, we're going to fill it in. I want a deeper green than that, actually. So, there we go, and now, I think I'm going to make this iris bit a bit smaller, actually. You'll find that when you're animating, there's going to be a lot of things that you feel should be changed. So, I'm going to select that, I'm going to push Q, and I'm going to make it smaller. And keep it highlighted, don't unselect it. Actually, we'll make it just a bit bigger. And then we can move it around, and we'll keep that shading line exactly where it is. Alright, so I'm going to unselect that now and get my eyedropper tool and fill in this extra space. Next, I'm going to go over to my brightness, and I'm going to turn this down and fill in my shading line. So, let's delete our shading lines on the color part of the eye. And let's do this part of the eye now. It's going to be right black is the dark side, so let's fill in the dark side first. K is our selection tool. Yep. And just brighten it up to about 4%. And fill that in. Alright, so you can't see the shading line, but I like to delete it anyway. Alright, so next we're going to add some life to these eyes. We're going to put some shine in. So push B for your brush tool, and you'll notice that when you've selected one of the tools up here, options appear over here for it. So this is your brush shape. We're going to go with the round one first, and this is your brush size. So let's do 4th from the top, and we're going to select our color as no stroke and white. So just make 3 small balls like this. Next, let's make our brush size as big as possible, and we're going to zoom out, Control Dash, which is right beside the plus key. Maybe one more, and we're going to put it right in the corner here. And we're going to zoom back in. If you ever off center from your drawing, push H, and it'll bring up your hand tool, and you will be able to move freely like this. And then just push V for your selection tool once you're done. Alright, so now that we have some life to these eyes now, we're going to add a bit of texture. So we're going to get our brush tool, B again, and we're going to select the 4th from the top and the slanted line third from the bottom, and we're going to make sure that our fill is black. And we're going to zoom in one more actually, and just click randomly on this side of the eye. And this is just going to have an illusion once it's further back that there's some texture in the eye. You can do this throughout the entire eye if you want, if you really have time, and I don't think you really need it too much. As long as there's a little bit of texture showing, then. Alright, so let's zoom out and have a look. So you see the little bit of texture you have now, and it's looks a little bit better. So push V for your selection tool, and we're actually going to animate this eye moving. It's going to move up to the corner and then look back straight. So go to your timeline, and we're going to do two things first. We're going to unlock the white layer, lock the eyes layer for now. We're going to take the white layer, we're going to copy, Control C, and make a new layer and call it white mask. We're going to throw a white mask on top of all the layers, and we're going to lock white now. And the blank keyframe white mask should be selected, and we're going to go onto the stage and right click and paste in place. So now we have two white layers in the exact same spot with the exact same properties. Now we're going to right click white mask and go mask. So an easy explanation for a mask is you walk into a dark room and you have a flashlight. You can only see what the flashlight is allowing you to see. So that's basically what a mask is, where the white mask is our flashlight and the eyes is our dark room. So we're going to pretend that the white void of the eye is more than just inside the eyeball. So once I move the eye outside this line, it's going to disappear, making the illusion that the eye is rolling into the back of the head. So the only way a mask is enabled is if all the layers involved are locked. So we're actually going to unlock the eyes layer, and we're going to hide the white mask layer so we can see what we're doing. Now we're going to click our playhead and push F5. F5 is going to insert a frame in the timeline. So we're going to go right to frame 20. You'll see your frame right down there. Next we're going to go back to frame 8, and we're going to right click the eyes timeline and create motion tween. It's going to ask you to make the eyes a symbol, and that's okay. So next we're going to right click on frame 8 and go insert keyframe on position. So now from frame 1 to frame 8 the eye is not going to do anything. Now let's go to frame 13. Now from frame 8 to frame 13 we're going to have the eye move. So you don't have to insert a keyframe, because once you make a movement it's going to automatically insert a keyframe for you. So let's have the eye go right about there, and you'll see that it's drawn its motion path already. So the eye is going to look up, and now we're going to have it, we'll go to frame 19, look back center here. So let's move it back center, and you'll see that it's inserted a keyframe here again. So now with our looping animation, it's going to play, it's going to look up, look back, and then it'll keep looping back and forth, keep looking up and looking back. So now let's test our mask out. We're going to lock our eyes layer and unhide our white mask, and now when the eye goes outside the barrier, it should disappear. So just to preview it, push enter, and so that looks pretty good. So now we're going to go back to our scene 1, and we're going to throw our eyes on our character. So Control Dash to zoom out, and H key to open up your hand. You can also hold down space. Space will also bring up your hand tool. So let's grab our eyes. Symbol 1 is our iris, so let's rename it that so we don't get confused. So eyes, we'll throw those right on here and push our Q button for the free transform. We're going to scale them to how we want, so it's pretty good. Alright, so eyes usually start about halfway down the head, so an artistic note right there. So once you have these to scale that you want, just push Control D, you'll duplicate it, and you can throw the other one on this side of the head. So I'm going to do a little bit of tweaking, and that looks pretty good. Let me zoom out, look at my character. That does look pretty good. I'm pretty satisfied with that. So now to preview your scene or your movie clip, you push Control-Alt-Enter, and it'll preview whatever you're working on, the scene or the movie clip. But if you want to watch your entire movie, Control-Enter, and it'll preload it and play your entire movie. So there we have our animated guy looking up and looking happy. So, thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel for future tutorials, and thanks for watching again.